câble. Vous voulez que je vous dise? Mais non. Quel mec, t'es même pas tranquille. Voilà.
Even with something simple like a control panel, we can explore things like enabling and disabling the proximity sensor so that you have control over whether or not it lets you through automatically or if you have to interact, and make sure it's all working properly.
Shields offline. Shields online. Weapon systems offline. Weapon systems online. Engines offline. Engines online. Weapon systems offline. Aegis combat assist activated. Systems green.
You physically place on the door, which pries it open, and which allows you then to sneak through. And maybe even past that, there's the locks on the door could be physical and have their own state and have their own health, and if those things get changed, either by some lockpicking gameplay or some damage or some external thing that we could explore even beyond, that you might trigger an alarm.
Now, there will be plenty of ship news coming out of IAE in the coming weeks, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at work from the graphics team on adding iridescence to the hard surface shader, seen here on the Talon light fighter from Asperia. Now, coming from the original concept, the iridescent paint allows us to showcase a variety of luminous colors that seemingly change when observed from different angles. Work on Refinery decks continues with this look at some of the exterior infrastructure and how that sits within the upcoming Lagrange point gas clouds. Now, this review specifically was to get an early look at what these stations might look like once they're embedded in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. After some consideration, one thought was that maybe a few more asteroids could be used to flesh out and more appropriately theme the exterior of these refinery stations. That was an easy call, but it will also have to be balanced with our desire to avoid turning our major trucking lanes into obstacle courses. Well, not all of them anyway. Now, while the look of these are coming along nicely, we'll talk more about how actual refining gameplay itself will work next week. Finally, let's check in once again with the ongoing work of our Colonial-style homesteads. Last time, we saw the 2D concepts turned into 3D concepts, and that was a big step in helping us visualize and evaluate the direction we wanted to take them. What you're seeing here is the next step in that look dev process, where we've now taken the raw, very rough 3D concept meshes and brought them down to a planet in engine, similar to the way the team reviewed 3D docking concepts by sticking them onto existing space stations. Now, it's important to note here that these are still concepts, and that the process of building them into viable in-game assets has not yet begun. So let's set our expectations accordingly. Tests like this are used to help us evaluate things like shape language, how the structures feel along or against certain landscapes, what kinds of visual stories can be told through placement, orientation, or combination, and even be used to help identify any sort of structure type that might still be missing from the proposed toy box. Beyond this test, it's also just a really cool look into Star Citizen's future, when one day frontier towns full of NPCs with jobs or missions can be found throughout the universe, and then one day later, players themselves creating outposts all their own. Rest assured that as work progresses, we'll keep following.